Hold on. It says live now, Alberta.
Okay, Mr. Lumia.
All right. 101, pledge of allegiance. Stand up for allegiance and have a moment of silence for Robert. And in addition, I would like to have those
John,
who
you broke up. Can we have Keith say it? Because you're breaking up. We can't hear the
Well,
names.
he's not what I want to say. There's a couple of things I want to say. Hear me?
Yes.
Give a moment of silence for Robert. Retired. A moment of silence for those who lost their lives 79 years ago on Pearl Harbor Day, 1941. So please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alberta, how can I get everybody? I can see Alberta. I only see the people right now. The entire board.
It's going to be up in the right-hand corner. You're going to change it to gallery view. Click on speaker view and make it gallery view.
On the right hand, there is nothing in the corner. Oh, view. I see it. Gallery, I see it.
Okay.
Thank you. I see everybody, most everybody.
John, you're still breaking up on me.
Well, if I do, we'll see what happens, okay? Can
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Not
Yes.
very well.
Keith can hear me and everybody else. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I can hear you. Want me to take the roll call?
I already,
John, we can't hear you at all.
how many people can hear me?
So let's go to,
Breaking up.
Okay, Keith,
yes.
the public comments, any comments from the public, Alberta? Are there any public comments, Alberta?
There are no comments that were submitted at this time.
All right. Before we go into the superintendent report, I'd like to recognize Marie Johnson. Statement.
Yes, thanks, John. I wanted to let everybody know about 18 months ago, a group of amazing people in our district started a program that Mr. Carrion had spearheaded in our district, the WCSD cohorts of New Paltz. This is the school building and district building leadership certification program. I know Dr. Bonk has worked with many of these people closely. This past Saturday, they finished their 18 months. They have completed it, and they are now just waiting for the final paperwork. And we are going to have a bunch of wonderful workers that are already employed by our district that will have their administrative certifications. And those people are Michelle Constable, Dawn Snowden, Christine Zansta, Tara Kohler, Jeannie Chapin, Adam Tinder, Olivia Christian, Ken Tornator, and Alandra Price. And I'm sure Dr. Bonk and all of senior staff is just as excited as us as the Board of Education if he has anything additional. But congratulations, guys, and thank you. And I can't wait to see you applying for all those administrative positions.
One last before we go into 5.01, 5.01, I would like to acknowledge the passing of Elaine Trumpetto, who is not employed by our district, but worked closely with the district. Ms. Trumpetto served as the Council for Addiction Prevention and Education, better known as CAPE. She tirelessly worked local district as well in the community to bring attention to opioid crisis, and was a true champion for addiction throughout the Hudson Valley. Despite her illness Her enthusiasm for her job was inspiring all that met her. She will be, we have a big moment from Mrs. Trompetto.
Hey, John? Mr. Lumia,
Yes, sir.
before you go on, may I take a moment to give a compliment to somebody who's at the table here?
Absolutely. Whatever you like, Mr. Rubin. If everybody.
Thank you. This past week, I will say that Peggy and Marie were at the Dutchess County School Board's meeting, as well as Dr. Bonk. And I would like to say, Dr. Bonk, you did a fabulous job. The district was well represented by you, and the district should be proud. Thank you.
With that being said, Superintendent, it's all yours.
Unmute.
Thank you very much, Trustee Rubin, for that comment. It was an extremely informative meeting. I enjoyed being a part of it. I have a couple of items in the superintendent's report this evening. The first one is very, very sad news. I also would like to recognize the contributions of Elaine Trompetto, not only to Dutchess County and the K program, but also to John Jay High School and the Wappinger Central School District. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to work with Elaine for the 5 years that I was principal at John Jay High School and the last 5 years at the district office. I was always impressed by her dedication and her effort and her advocacy to bring attention to one of the issues that we have within our society and within our community, and that is drug addiction. We dearly miss Elaine, and my thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family. Thank you. At this point, I would like to acknowledge a donation that was made to the school district. Very pleased to announce, and I'd like to read this letter from Linda Melton-Mann, who I know, phenomenal leader within our community. Linda is currently the president of the Black Child Development Institute of the Mid-Hudson Valley. And I'm going to share with you her letter. Dear board members, on behalf of the local Black Child Development Institute, Mid-Hudson affiliate, and at the request of our National Black Childhood Development Institute, we are happy and donate 5,760 face masks to your students in your district from kindergarten to first grade. Kindly accept this donation as our way of assisting your district in preventing the spread of COVID-19 among your students. As a community service organization dedicated to enhancing the lives of children, we trust this small contribution will provide support during this difficult time in education. Yours for Children in Education, Linda Melton-Mann, President, Black Child Development Institute, Mid-Hudson affiliate. It's individuals, please a round of applause. It's individuals like Linda Melton-Mann and organizations such as the Black Child Development Institute who come up and step up to the plate at a time of crisis and at a time of pandemic to help our students, to ensure that they have the ability to go to school. As we all know, in-person instruction is fundamental to all of our students' academic, social, and emotional well-being. And this donation by the Black Child Development Institute helps to allow some students who may not have had an opportunity to participate. So with that, thank you, Black Child Development Institute. I also would like to take a moment to recognize some athletic accomplishments. Here again, our athletic department. Obviously, it's been extremely challenging with COVID-19 and the number of cancellations and reschedules and our sports going, our sports not going. I feel terrible for all of our student athletes. That being said, I want to congratulate the following individuals. for their outstanding achievements in athletics. First of all, from John Jay High School, the boys cross country team was regional champions and league champions. Student Catherine Tan was the singles tennis regional champion from John Jay. Also, John Jay High School girls tennis regional league champions, and Roy C. Ketchum High School field hockey regional champions. Congratulations to all of those individuals, the coaches, the families. A round of applause, please, who were able to deal with all of the adversity within the season to reach this phenomenal accomplishment. And let me build on that with the next presentation. This actually was a suggestion by Trustee Sloshower, and when he suggested it, we all said, absolutely, great idea. What you see in front of you is about 200 names. And those 200 names are individuals either from Roy C. Ketchum High School or John Jay High School who were identified as scholar athletes. So what does this mean? This basically means that the New York State Public High School Athletic Association has recognized 6 teams at John Jay High School. Boys cross country, overall average, 95.3. So these are students that not only excelled athletically, but excelled in the classroom. Very, very scholarly. Girls cross country, 96.4. Field hockey, 94.5. Boys soccer, 93.5. Girls soccer, 96.5. Girls tennis, 97.3. That's John Jay High School. Roy C. Ketchum High School, boys cross country, 94.5. Girls cross country, 95.1. Field hockey, 95.3. Boys soccer, 93.5. Girls soccer, 96.5. And girls tennis, 96.4. A round of applause, please, again, for the nearly 200 students and all of their coaches and all of their parents and the families that have supported them, not only through their athletic endeavors during this pandemic, but also have instilled the importance of doing well in the classroom as well. This is a tremendous testament to both high schools, both staffs, both communities, and both families. And with that, those are my superintendent comments for the evening. Thank you.
Mrs. Mann's husband used to be a president of the board so years ago. Also personally, she was a fantastic job throughout the community. So 102, K-8 curriculum instruction assessment update, data-driven support, quality professional learning. I believe that's Dr. Cardwell. Dr. Cardwell?
Yes, good evening, everyone. President Lumia, Vice President Odoms, trustees, and Dr. Bond, good evening. I'm excited today to be able to present to you some information on the curriculum instruction and assessments that's been taking place for the course of the school year. Usually this presentation deals a lot with reviewing the New York State data for grades 3 through 8 testing. But as everyone is aware, the spring assessments were canceled due to COVID-19. So we don't have the New York State ELA math and science data to share with you. However, that does not mean that curriculum has not been taught at high levels. We have been assessing students. We have been providing the students with enriching learning opportunities. And I want to just take some time today to provide this information to the Board of Education and to the community. We have an outstanding professional learning program. And not only am I going to begin the presentation talking about the professional learning, but also end the presentation with it as well. It's important for everyone to realize that we have outstanding, high quality professional learning that takes place throughout the school year. We provide ongoing targeted support to our instructional staff through residencies, in-service, and also project schools. Our professional development specialists work directly with teachers in the classrooms. That's through embedded professional development by meeting with the teachers, select teachers multiple times a week through a residency. That means they're working with them, modeling lessons, co-planning, co-designing, co-teaching, coaching them and mentoring them towards excellence. We also provide our instructional staff with in-service opportunities. That's professional development that the teachers can select after school, before school, in the evening times, and even on weekends to help further their craft. We are also still partnering with the Teachers College for reading and writing. And we have 3 schools that are project schools receiving direct support from Teachers College. That is Evans Elementary, Sheaf Elementary, and Gayhead Elementary schools. We also have multiple opportunities to provide our staff with professional development. These are during our superintendent's conference days, our half professional development days. Some of our teachers have opportunities to work in professional learning communities, PLCs. They also use some of their department meetings as learning opportunities, grade level meetings, and they also are still attending conferences, even though many of them are virtual at the time. So our staff has an opportunity to really collaborate with each other on areas involving the curriculum, instruction, assessment, and resources. They have worked together to make modifications to the curriculum and resources to meet the instructional needs of the students. And they have also spent time at the beginning of the school year identifying those power standards. These are the standards that are necessary to be taught to the students in order to make sure that they're prepared for the next grade. We also have 2 committees that are directly related to curriculum and instruction and professional development. One of them is the curriculum committee, and we have been meeting and scheduling meetings for this school year. We have talked about the NICEAD culturally responsive sustaining framework and the board goal of cultural responsiveness. We do have a curriculum meeting that is scheduled for this week, in which we will have the K-6 curriculum revisions presented to the curriculum committee. We will also talk about the instructional models in hybrid and remote, where we will have our professional development and technology specialists present to the curriculum committee the work that has been taking place this school year. And we will also have a review of grades 7 and 8, the multi-years plans for ELA, social studies, math, and science. The Professional Learning Committee has also been meeting, and they will continue to meet throughout the year to discuss the professional learning plan and the professional learning offerings, making sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our staff and all of our students in our hybrid and remote learning models. The work that has been taking place at the building level cannot go unnoticed. We have our administrators and our teacher leaders inside of our buildings that are using data to inform instruction and make decisions on a regular basis. They're using iReady data along with either Fontes and Pinnell or Myon assessment data and running records to determine if students need academic intervention services. According to what is in our AIS plan. They continue to review attendance data to support students in need and to identify those at-risk students. And they also administer quarterly assessments that they will use to report progress to the parents. Small group instruction is definitely a focus this year in all of our subject areas. Being that we are in a hybrid model, the number of students that are in person on any given day is a much smaller number than if we were in a traditional instructional model. So the teachers are able to work with students and provide small group instruction. They're able to gather data through the small group instruction and to differentiate and provide targeted instruction to students. We are also spending some time on social and emotional learning. We are working with Positivity Project and Second Step programs. Our teachers meet daily with our students to discuss character traits such as responsibility and cooperation, and really talk about the needs of the students through these different programs. In addition, our principals and teacher leaders are still working on reviewing data as a team. Some of them are still using data walls or other means of displaying data for their data teams to work collaboratively in order to personalize instruction. They are also still administering AIS, which is our Academic Intervention Services. Even though it may look slightly different than in a traditional learning model, students who need additional academic supports are receiving those supports, and they are still working through the response to intervention models in order to make sure that we are meeting the needs of the students. Teachers are also implementing instructional interventions through Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 models. Tier 1 is instruction that's taking place inside the classroom with the classroom teacher. It is usually differentiated and targeted to meet the student's need. Tier 2 is small group instruction that can take place inside the classroom or outside the classroom with an additional teacher that's providing targeted support for those students in addition to the Tier 1 that they're receiving. And Tier 3 supports is that intensive support, generally one-to-one, one-to-two, that directly meets the needs of the students through intensive instruction. We do offer some additional programs that I wanted to make sure the Board of Education and the community are aware. We are offering the Math Enrichment Program, which is a program through Dr. Miller and the Math and Science Exploration Center. It is being offered for students in grades 5 through 8. This program actually started this week, and we're very excited that we have over 100 students already participating. If anyone would like information on this program, some of the sessions are full and they have been closed. You can click on Math Enrichment Program. That will take you to a link on the information on how you can register. We also have a community math tutoring program, which is run through a community partner. This is for grades 7 to 12. It is held on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And if you click on that link, you will get information on the times and the grades and how to log in to those tutoring sessions. Some of our schools are also offering virtual clubs and extracurricular activities. They really want to make sure that they are providing students with additional social activities so students can work on their social skills and interact with their peers outside of a classroom, whether it's in person or virtual environment. Some of those clubs include student council, the project homework, some art clubs, and multicultural clubs. So if you're interested in finding out what clubs your school may be offering or may intend to offer a little bit later on in the school year, please contact your school directly to find out what offerings your child could participate in. We do not know yet from New York State if they will cancel the New York State ELA math and science assessments. So as of now, these assessments are still on. That's what we're working off of because we haven't heard differently. If that is the case, then this spring of 2021 will be the last administration of the ELA math assessments that's aligned to the P12 learning standards. In spring 2022, that will be the first assessment for the next generation ELA and math learning standards. Our schools have already transitioned over from the old learning standards to the new learning standards. They have already made their walks and updated the curriculum and the scope and sequence guide. So we are prepared for our students to take whichever assessments the state is going to offer to our students. In addition, there have been some changes to the science assessment timelines as well. This June will be the last administration of the grade 4 science test. Grade 8 will also take the science test, but it will not be the grade 8's last administration. The following year, in June 2022, there will be no grade 4 science test. That's because we are transitioning to a new grade. And then the last administration of grade 8 will take place in June 2022 until we have the first administration of the new grade 5 and grade 8 science test beginning June 2023. We are also preparing our curriculums in order to be aligned to the next generation science standards, which are now also the New York State Science Learning Standards. So we're excited for whichever assessments the state wants to provide to our students. We are well prepared. The next slides are just additional information. If any of the board members or community members are interested in specific information, there is one on ELA, there's one on math, and there's one on science. And there's also links to take you to the NYSED website, which could have additional information if you so desire. I would now like to take a couple of minutes to review some of the work and some of the members of the professional development team. Our professional development team is led by 3 administrators. We have Art Showden, who is the Director of Instructional Technology, Jessica Turner, who is Director of ELA and Social Studies, and Adam Panzer, Director of Math and Science. All 3 of them directly supervise our professional development and technology integration specialists. Our technology integration specialists, Andrew Nicola, Dan Roberto, ELA professional development specialist, Christine Blake and Krista Marino, and our STEAM professional development specialists, Tara Kohler and John Salmon. Cannot thank them enough for all of their work that they have been doing since they assumed their roles and responsibilities. The International Society for Technology and Education has come up, or they came up with standards for our professional development coaches. So a lot of the work that our professional development coaches are grounded in research. And I wanted to add this slide and provide this information to let you know that they are a part of a larger community in teaching excellence, teaching, designing, learning, and really being experts in their field. The technology integration team really has been working hard on preparing our students to work as designers of their learning environments. They have put on a countless number of professional development opportunities through in-services. They have created videos. They created a remote learning guide for our staff members. They continue to model and co-teach lessons with our students. But let's hear a little bit from Dan and Andrew, part of the tech integration team, about some of the work that they have been doing. And this should pull up shortly if it works. Darren, is it not working, the link? Technology. This is where we need our technology specialists.
Team within the district. We serve the entire K-12 teachers and students as we continue to build digital learning environments. We wanted to give a quick overview and share some of the things that we have been working on recently.
So in our work with the remote and hybrid models, we've been really working on building capacity for teachers to help them with instructional design, but also troubleshoot any technology issues that they may come across or their students may come across. So we have, since last spring, developed a Digital Learning Help Center. This is a Google Classroom where every staff member, faculty member is invited to. And here's a quick place for them to post questions or concerns that they may have, and we can respond right back to them in the most efficient manner. We also have developed a section where we share resources for remote learning, answer FAQ questions, and then also resources for parents for other district programs, and all of our PD sessions are archived. So we keep this maintained and we work on it as needed.
We also design and develop high quality professional development learning opportunities for our staff. So this is just to give you a vision of how we are really creating models of professional development to assist our staff to improve their pedagogical approach. We used a gaming way here with Monopoly, and you can see the staff will get to go through this experience to further their PD.
And then we chose to do it in this manner to model the types of effective digital instruction that can be utilized with students in the remote and hybrid model. We also organized what's called a Wakelet, which is a collection of PD on demand. So we've taken instructional tips, different tools that are utilized by the district, and we've organized it into different professional development opportunities. We've created tutorial videos, and we've also posted a series of resources. So if teachers need somewhere to go to, they have this PD on demand.
Lastly, we continue to collaborate with teachers throughout the district in creating unique learning experiences for our students. So this is a 5th grade social studies unit, and we're creating and actually virtually teaching with these students and the teachers right now. So we're hitting both the hybrid and the remote students and creating these experiences that are unique and giving them a new method of learning in this model.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you for that. We will go back into the presentation. There are just a few more slides. Our STEAM professional development specialists, John and Tara, work directly with our curriculum support teachers and our STEAM residents through residencies. They go into classrooms, they work with teachers directly in person. They also work with teachers and students remotely as needed. They help teachers develop standards that are aligned to the science units, and they work on designing and delivering synchronous and asynchronous professional development opportunities. But enough about me. Let's hear from John and Tara themselves for a few minutes.
Students were working through rigorous science inquiries in the emergency remote learning. We still wanted to preserve those hands-on experiences, getting the children away from the computer. And this is an example of that. You'll see it's a water cycle model where they simply had to use household items, measuring cups, water, cup, bowl, string, and saran wrap.
So this next example of student work is in the hybrid scenario that was taking place in a 3rd grade classroom. And so what we have is we have 2 different versions that the students were working through. One was an at-home version while the other was in school. So the students in school were working with hands-on pendulums, and they were identifying patterns in motion. And so the virtual students had a simulation that they were working through that was representing the standard in the same waveform. So what we're trying to do is ensure that the rigorous standards-driven work that we do in our district is happening for both our at-home and our in-school students.
This is an example of how students can have the same experience in a 2nd grade classroom. They were planning and carrying out an investigation to test out absorbency. So you'll see on the left here, we have one of our at-home students. They were on a Google Meet, so they were able to be part of what was going on in the classroom. And students were able to share those experiences as well.
So in this final slide, we're trying to show the authenticity of what we're doing within the Wappinger School District. And so this is a project-based learning storyline where 2nd graders are working with physical properties and identifying what materials would be best suited to protect food and provide a shelter on a rainy day camping trip. Ultimately, the students, the scenario is that they'll be going on a rainy day hike. They're going to need to choose materials with properties that have the ability to keep food and drinks cold. The lunch items they choose to bring should not change their shape when heat is added or if they're recooled. And also bring materials that, along with their backpack, can be assembled into a shelter. So everything that they're going to be creating should be able to fit into this backpack. They're going to receive feedback from inventors and share their invention with Dick's Sporting Goods.
And last but not least, we will spend a couple of minutes talking about our ELA professional development specialists who really work with our teachers at the elementary level in ELA and the humanities. Our humanities professional development specialist is Kristen Marino and Christine Blake. So without further ado, let's hear a 2-minute video created by our ELA professional developers.
To take this opportunity to highlight an example of the type of work we're doing with teachers and students. We have the privilege of working with professionals from the Teachers College Reading and Writing Project. We also have the privilege of working with teachers to envision teaching and learning within this new model. The lesson we're going to share is based on collaboration between these two stakeholders. How can we provide engaging literacy experiences to our youngest readers that propel them to meet standards?
We found that our work focuses on these 3 areas: efficiency, because our time is more valuable than ever; equity, because we need our students to have similar experiences whether they are at home or at school; and engagement, because we know that students who are engaged in learning achieve more. In the example we're about to share, teachers were able to include instruction in phonics, sight words, grammar, and handwriting, all while building beginning reading and writing skills. Teachers were able to use paper and pencil with students in person while using a Jamboard for students at home. This lesson gives students a chance to choose their own topic. You might be asking yourself, what lesson could miraculously tie together all of these things? Bookmaking. In this interactive writing lesson, students choose a topic and use sight words to build grammatically correct sentences. This group of children that we worked with are passionate about superheroes. They use letter sound knowledge to write words that are tailored to their current level. The example on the left shows the paper and pencil version used in person. The example on the right shows the child using Jamboard on the computer at home. In the center, you see an example of the work that all students did, regardless of setting, in order to stay actively engaged in the lesson.
But wait, there's more. This work creates a book, both electronic and paper, that all students can read independently. Our youngest readers need many texts that they are familiar with to read over and over to build their beginning reading skills. Teachers and students alike have found success using this type of lesson to engage readers.
Thank you, Board of Education, for allowing me the opportunity to share some of the work that has been taking place in the areas of curriculum, instruction, assessment, and professional development. At this time, if anyone has any questions regarding anything that was presented, please feel free to do so.
First of all, Dr. Cowell, excellent presentation, not on your part, but also the technology. Just a quick thing, quality assessments, do we, when given by our teachers?
So I think I heard some of what you were saying about the assessment. We have our ready assessment, which is given at the beginning of the school year, and students take those assessments this year while they are home. There is also a MION assessment that students can take while they are home as well. And the teachers are administering Fontes and Pinnell in some of the classrooms in person, as well as teacher assessments in person.
So far as the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 interventions, do you find that there are more in tier 3 this year than previous years?
I think right now, since we are early in the school year, we don't have that data for tier 3. We currently start off with students in Tier 1 and Tier 2 through the RTI process, and then who are still struggling after receiving support in Tier 1 and Tier 2 will then move on to Tier 3. So right now, because it is still early in the year, we do not have finalized numbers. I would say, based upon information we currently have, it is similar to last year's, but that is because those students who may have been falling behind still have not progressed through the tiers at this point.
Schools that are involved in.
Mr. Lumia, you're over time.
I'd like to make a motion to go 5 more minutes. Those in favor, raise your
So
hand.
moved.
Okay, 5 more minutes. What school that's a Miller in?
I only heard part of that, something about Dr. Miller's program. Could you please repeat?
Which schools is Dr. Miller involved in?
Okay, so because Dr. Miller is doing his program virtually, we were able to open it up to students in grades 5 through 8 at all elementary schools and also at the junior high schools. So the students in any of our elementary schools or any of our junior high schools could have registered to participate.
My last question, I hope you can hear it. How much difference is there between old learning standards and then new learning standards? I know you can't answer this right away, but perhaps the curriculum, I would like to get an answer to that. How much difference is there between the standards?
So there is more difference in some grades than in others. When we have our curriculum committee meeting, I could definitely share the crosswalks and the breakdown of the differences per grade. At the elementary levels, there were some grades with minimal changes and some with more changes than others. So I will be able to provide that specific information to the curriculum committee.
Which is this coming Wednesday, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Eddie?
Thank you, Mr. Lumia. Dr. Caldwell, I want to thank you and your team. That was an excellent presentation. I can see how challenging it is for the lower grades to get them engaged, and I can see that they've come up with some very creative ideas, obviously to help the lower elementary school students. With that being said, from the iReady assessment, normally we do an end of the year assessment and then a beginning of the year assessment. Have you been able to ascertain any data because a majority of our students, are still remote this year and we finished up last year remote? Have you seen a significant decrease in the assessments for students, especially at the lower grade? Or is it just not able to determine that at this moment? Has there been students progressing? Are they regressing? Are they the same? If they are regressing, obviously we need to, figure out a way, to help improve them until hopefully we're back 100%, in buildings come the third quarter, or at least at the very least the beginning of the fourth quarter. Have you seen any, anomalies or been able to ascertain any of that particular data just to see where students, as I said, have either progressed, regressed, or basically have stayed the same from the end of last year's iReady assessments to the iReady assessments taken by students at the beginning of this year?
Right. So we don't have end of year data from last year because the iReady end of year assessment was not offered to the students. So we have the beginning of year and middle of year data from last year, and we have the beginning of year data from this year. We have our building level data teams, the principals and the teacher leaders, looking at the data per school to determine if they are seeing major academic gaps between cohorts of students. At this point in time, the staff has not found any anomalies or anything yet to say that our students are much further behind than they were last year at this same time. However, students in September do come back with some summer learning loss. So you could see a drop in academic performance. I think a big tell will be when we compare the beginning of year data this year with the middle of the year data to last year's also, to see the growth that student makes from one year to the next year. Students will take the middle of year data in January and February of this year. So maybe we will have an additional data point to look at and discuss at that time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
John, you're next. John, Mr. Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Lumia. Dr. Cardwell, is there a beginning, mid, and end year approach to using assessments such as iReady both at the elementary and at the junior high levels, or are they administered differently between elementary and junior high schools?
So our schools have the option of offering the mid-year assessment. The district does not mandate that all students take the mid-year assessment. We indicate that students who are struggling, who are in AIS, who are performing below grade level, they must take the mid-year assessment. Many principals do opt to assess all of their students because they have realized it provides them with necessary data to continue to progress monitoring students and to place students into small groups. It just gives them another data set. So generally, most of our schools at the elementary level do provide the beginning, the middle, and end of year assessments. And then at the junior high schools, it does vary. But I believe the principals have been discussing this year to offer it again as a data set, being that we did not offer it at the end of last year due to the circumstances.
Dr. Carol, thank you and your staff for the presentation. It was excellent. And I'm looking
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
forward to Wednesday curriculum. Okay. Thank you.
President Lumia, if I may, I would also like to commend Dr. Cardwell, the entire Department of Curriculum and Instruction, and our professional development staff, which is absolutely phenomenal. You can see they are doing tremendous work. And again, I want to thank them for trying to make learning come alive as much as they can in the virtual world. So thank you to them. And thanks to you, Dr. Cardwell, to you and your staff on a job well done. Thank you.
Yep. Very well done. Very well done. Difficult circumstances at best. Very well done.
Yes.
Six point 6.01 consent agenda. Does anybody want to remove anyone from the consent agenda? Anybody? Seeing none. Keith, it's all yours.
Resolved that the Board of Education does hereby approve the following consent agenda items as stated. 6.02, 6.03, 6.04, 6.05, 6.06, 6.07, 6.08, 6.09, 6.10, 6.11, 6.12, and 6.13.
So moved.
Second.
Were those 6 point or 7 point?
I'm sorry.
Point of order. He can't talk right now. We just voted on it without exception.
He read the wrong numbers.
Please read the numbers.
Consent agenda, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it started at 6.02.
Or 7.02.
6.
I have it as 6.
Yeah, 7.01 is new business. 7 starts new business.
You read the resolutions. 6.02, 6.03, 6.04, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Those are the consent agenda resolutions. All those in favor?
Aye.
7.01, appointment of a board member to the committee. I would like to, if possible, with Dr. Bunk. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, President Lumia. I would just like to comment in my role as Deputy Superintendent of Human Resources and Labor Relations, as Trustee Johnson did before. On behalf of the district, I would like to congratulate all of the individuals who have successfully completed the administrative cohort. We look forward to seeing you as administrators in our district in the future. Obviously, our strategic plan talks about the importance of promoting from within when we see talented individuals. And as Trustee Johnson indicated, you are certainly talented. And again, congratulations on this excellent achievement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Bunk. Appointment 7.01, appointment of a board member to committee. I would like to appoint Mr. Morgan, serve on a community communication committee.
Happy birthday, Sensei.
What?
I'll second that. If he'll be on it, I'll second it.
Yeah, Ruby, you can. It's a background motion. Wait a minute. Anyway, regard favor.
See, I agree with you that there's a difference.
Unanimous.
What do you think, Rosie?
We should all be on mute.
We have to vote on a point of order. Do we have to vote on appointments?
No, we don't. Linda, you might want to mute. We keep hearing you.
I don't know.
Right, it's the purview of the board president to appoint trustees to sit on specific committees, as long as they're
True.
willing to do it, correct,
Yeah,
Alberta?
we don't have to vote on it.
That's correct. He can appoint, he can request a volunteer or appoint, and he just appointed, so that's adequate. You're right, Mr. Sloshower and Mrs. Johnson.
Okay, so we don't need a vote on it. Okay, just
Thank you.
thank you for the thank you.
clarification.
Yep, thanks for the clarification.
All right, 7.02, approval of legislative action committee charter.
So moved.
No, Keith has to read it.
Resolved that the Board of Education does hereby approve the 2020-2021 Legislative Action Committee Charter and goals as stated.
Second.
Discussion.
Second.
I'm sorry, who did the motion? I have a delay here. I'm sorry.
Ruben made the, Peggy Callen seconded.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
I motion.
Thank you. And Peggy second. Thank you.
And any discussion?
Discussion.
Eddie?
Thank you. I had sent an email to the committee and the board earlier for just a quick conversation and possible motion to amend the goals. As of Friday, a assembly bill was presented for discussion. It's NYA 11179, which reads, require a COVID-19 vaccination to be administered in accordance with the Department of Health's COVID-19 vaccination administrative program and mandates vaccinations in certain situations. Little bit vague, because obviously with the vaccine coming, there could be some potential mandates. So I was thinking about this and wanted to consider, I take some input from the board about amending our goals and adding a topic with regards to this particular bill that is going to be, obviously put to the, I don't know if we'll make it to the floor, but something to consider, because if the state is going to require all students K through 12 to be vaccinated in order to attend school, I believe that's something that the committee should take up for discussion and a potential draft of a letter to the board for review and consideration, as we had done in the past on the HPV. So I'd just like to get some comments, if any board member has. Otherwise, I'd make a motion to amend the goals to add this as a potential topic for the committee to discuss.
Peggy?
As I said last year, when you came up with another vaccination issue, I don't think that it's the role of the school board to take positions on health issues. I don't think anyone among us is qualified to say whether a specific vaccination is necessary to protect the other students. Our students are already required to take a number of vaccinations by the state, including measles, polio, and many other serious diseases that can result in death and are highly contagious. I do not know whether the COVID-19 vaccines that are being proposed should be administered to everyone, but I don't know that they shouldn't either. I think this is an issue for the health authorities. That's why we have a Center on Disease Control. It's why we have a federal Department of Health, and we have a state Department of Health and a county Department of Health. And I don't think we should be getting involved in an issue with which we're really not qualified to judge.
Mr. Lumia?
Yeah, Mr. Rubin?
I would also like to speak out against this on the grounds, first of all, I happen to agree with Peggy Kelland, but also on the grounds that this is something that has not come before the committee, and this subcommittee, our legislative effort, has not taken a vote or discussed it. So without this discussion at the committee level, I think it's fruitless to talk about it at this level, if it even comes to this level.
Marie Johnson.
Thank you.
I just want to see if I'm clarifying this. Mr. Sloshower is not asking for us to make a stand or anything of that nature at this point. He just, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, he just wants to be able to add the topic so that we can double check for unfunded or funded mandates, because we're looking at the financial end of it more so. I don't think Mr. Sloshower is looking to, dictate who can and cannot have the vaccine. We're looking at, I think he was attempting to look at it in the financial realm of it and who would be responsible, because that would be a mass. It's a new vaccine, so it would have to be across the board. So I think he's trying to make sure it doesn't fall on the school district to pick up the tab of this situation. I think if I'm not mistaken, is that it? You just want to put the topic on the table for discussion with your committee, not actually making a stand, correct?
Spencer,
That is correct. I'm not asking anyone on the board to make a decision one way or the other. If you recollect, if you think back, first of all, the full board can charge any sitting committee or an ad hoc committee to take up a specific topic for discussion. Again, this came to light after our legislative action meeting, where we did set our goals to present to everyone tonight. This came out this past Friday. I just think it's an important topic. Yes, this could be another unfunded mandate, which could cause considerable financial stress on the district. Again, I'm not asking anyone. All I'm asking for is the charter to be amended to add this as a potential goal and topic. And as Mr. Rubin clearly stated, I would like to have this discussed at the committee level, but I cannot do that right now because the committee had already put goals together. This came up at the last minute on Friday. And as I'll reiterate again, the board has the full authority to charge the committee to take up any specific topic it deems necessary. So all I'm asking for is the approval to add it to the charter so that the committee may discuss it, or the committee may not have time to discuss it. But if it's on the board goal, we can, if we have the time, we can discuss it. If it's not there, then we won't be permitted to do it. Or we'd have to come back, the committee would have to come back to the board and ask for authority to discuss the particular topic.
I believe
Point of information, Mr. Sloshower. The federal government announced last spring, and it's in the CARES Act, that they will pay for all the vaccinations. We will not have to pay for it. And in any case, all the other vaccinations the students have are the parents' responsibility. And if the parents cannot afford it, it's taken care of by the Department of Health. The school district does not pay for vaccinations. And in this particular case, we have the additional benefit that the federal government has already promised to take the cost on themselves, and it will not fall on the state or county governments either.
That's fine. And until that actually happens, that's one point. The other issue, again, as we go back to the HPV situation, and not to get into specifics on this, but if the state is gonna mandate students to do this to attend school, then that's gonna cause a problem for the district, because you may have a mass exodus of students, which in turn will cause financial strain because we will not get our full funding because we will have less enrollment. So again, it's to be added as a topic of discussion. That's all I'm asking for, if the board is willing to consider it.
Before we could respond back and forth, Jim Spencer, hand up. So please, comment, please.
Peggy answered my question. Peggy answered my question.
Okay.
We need more time on this item.
5 more
I
minutes.
motion for 5 minutes.
I second it.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Again, no, not unanimous. I'm against.
Oh, you're against?
Yeah, get the
Yep.
5 minutes.
Yeah, keep going,
We
keep
passed
going.
it. We got the majority. If I remember correctly, at the
It's not unanimous.
Oh, I thought your hand was up. You must have been by the cat. Sorry.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I think that was about extending the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just about
Yeah.
extending time.
Linda Gerald.
I don't want to extend time.
Okay, would like to on another issue on this charter, not to do with this particular amendment. So
Right now, we have approximately 6 bullets on the charter.
yeah, well, that's what I would like to extend time for. So I did vote for extending time.
So it was
Oh.
all except for Linda and Rob that are the only two that voted against it. So we still have enough to go forward.
Let's decide on this first. How many people are in favor of putting an extra bullet on the charter? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Opposed? Opposed?
If you just said opposed, I'm opposed.
Okay, it fails.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for the few minutes.
Thank
So did it go through or no?
No. I'd like to make another amendment to the charter.
I'll second it.
Peggy.
All right, the amendment I'd like to make is that the IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, is now 45 years old. When this federal act was first passed, they promised to fund 40% of special education costs across the country. And at the time, they said they were going to phase it in. So after 10 years, they'd be paying 40% of the costs. They have never done so. However, I noticed that this summer, the Democratic Party platform included a promise to fully fund the IDEA. And although the Republican Party did not put forth any platform this year, I think there would be bipartisan support. So I think this would be something, speaking of an unfunded mandate, that would be a big help to all the states if the federal government stepped up and paid their fair share of special education. It would take a great burden off both the local districts and the states and leave more money for us to spend on other things. And since this is an unfunded mandate, I'd really like to see the Legislative Action Committee pursue this with our congressman.
I'd like to second. Without further, Eddie?
I just want to say, would that, Peggy, would that fall? Would you be satisfied if that fell under the 4th bullet point? Or would you like to have that put in parentheses as part of the 4th bullet point?
I would like to say it's specifically mentioned, yes.
Local, state, federal legislation and impact special education services. And we could put in parentheses with an emphasis on this particular situation. Would that be satisfactory?
Yes, I think that would be very good, since I think we might actually have a chance with this particular incoming Congress of actually getting this through.
All right.
Would you like to give some specific wording that we could vote on and then Ms. Pedro could amend?
Okay, support full funding of the federal share of the IDEA.
Alberta, you got that? Alberta?
An unstable internet
I'm sorry, did you?
connection.
I'm sorry. Alberta, did you get what Peggy stated?
I think she's having internet issues.
Internet connection. I do not.
Peggy, you want to say it again, please?
Okay, support full funding of the federal share, 40% of the IDEA.
All right, look, we can just go to Alberta tomorrow, tell her that. All those in favor of that particular amendment to the resolution, raise your hands. Keith?
She made a
Bob?
motion. Somebody has to the motion and then second.
Yeah, we didn't get a second.
Second the motion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hands. Ruby?
No, I'm accusing as stated previously.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
No, for the same reason that I stated, no.
It passed, okay. With that being said, 7.03, approval of the intermunicipal agreement. Keith?
Okay, can we go back? I'm sorry. Can we go back?
Yes, we can.
So that, I believe that was the motion to add Peggy's to the charter. Now, can we get a vote on the charter as amended?
Yes, that's what we did.
So move.
Second, Marie Johnson. All those in favor of the charter as amended? Everybody except Ruben.
Except me, I'm against. You're right.
That being said, approval, 7.03, approval intermunicipal agreement.
Resolved that the Board of Education of the Wapager Central School District does hereby approve the intermunicipal agreement between the Wapager Central School District and the town of Fishkill as stated. A copy of the agreement shall be placed on file with the district clerk.
Move.
Motion?
Move.
Second.
Second, Kellen. Discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody unanimous, Alberta. 7.04, support for pilot West Campus IBM / Amazon.
Whereas the Wapager Central School District has been informed of a proposed project to commercially redevelop 3 parcels of land located on Route 52 in the town of Fishkill, particularly described as 1940 Route 52, Route 52 rear, and Route 52 rear, and whereas USEF, Tioranda LLC, and Amazon.com Services LLC, the developer of such proposed project, intends to file an application for financial assistance for the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency to assist in this proposed project. And whereas it is contemplated that the financial assistance being sought from DCIDA will include a pilot agreement for a term of 15 years. And whereas the Wapager Central School District, having received and reviewed the information describing the project, is supportive of such project. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Wapager Central School District supports the application for financial assistance with the DCIDA being filed by Amazon, including a 15-year term for a pilot agreement. And be it further resolved that the acting superintendent of schools be authorized to send a letter in support of such application to the DCIDA.
Motion?
Move.
Thank you, Kellen. Move,
Second.
Ruben.
Second.
Discussion?
I'll second.
All right, Kate, okay, fine. Eddie, you have a question?
Is Ms. Crandall with us? I just had a quick question.
Yes, I am.
Hi, Ms. Crandall, how are you?
Good, how are you?
With regards to the pilot payment,
Mm-hmm.
I think I read somewhere, did you get any definitive numbers from the town assessor moving forward once there's a physical structure on the property, or is that yet to be determined based on what its assessed value would be?
I don't have assessed values. We did get sample, still draft numbers as to what the pilot payment would look like. And again, that was still draft, so I didn't share that with the Board of Education. But what we do know for a fact is that we do not believe that the impact will fully hit the district in a positive way, because that's what it will be with regard to the pilot payments when they begin until the 22-23 school year, based on the timelines that we're currently looking at. But I don't have full assessed values that have been finalized as of yet.
Okay, so just obviously until the time they final approvals, break ground, construction, and then the reassess takes place. Obviously, that seems to be the timeline. Thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? All those in favor of the pilot?
Yes.
Unanimous. 7.05 second reading and
President Lumia, if I may say, I will proudly sign that document.
Good idea. You better, Dr. Bunk. Second reading and Keith.
Resolved that the Board of Education of the Wapanger Central School District hereby approves the second reading of and adopts the following policies based upon the first reading by the Board and the recommendation of the Policy Committee as stated.
So moved.
Any questions? So who seconded?
Second.
John Morgan. Any questions? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Members may request additional agenda items, discussion items, or request for information. Are there any addition to the agenda? Seeing none. 9.01 communication from the public. Alberta, it's all yours. I'm sorry. Jim, you had a question.
No, I just had a comment. I just want to acknowledge the hard work that the acting superintendent, the senior staff, the building administrators have all been doing recently in terms of contact tracing and dealing with the COVID. I just want to express my appreciation because I know it's hard work and it's important. They're doing everything possible to keep all of our kids, our faculty, and our staff safe in the buildings. And just want to express my appreciation to them.
I believe.
You know what, Jim? I'll second that. Thank you.
Yes.
I think the entire board, Mr. Spencer's comments. With that being said, Alberta, it's all yours. Alberta?
Okay, thank you. Looking at the public comment form, no submissions today.
Very good. And that meeting lasts a long time, by the way, guys. This is the longest meeting we've had in a very long time. Let's hope we get it shorter next time. Anyway, without further ado, all those unanimous. Have a good night. And